there, it's Cheryl. Thanks so much for joining. I know everyone is incredibly busy, and it's really an honor for me to have you here listening to this. What I'm going to share today is a concept that I really wish I would have known as a young person, and I am incredibly excited to bring it to you today. What we're going to talk about is 3 secrets to increase willpower. Now, let's talk about willpower for a second. We all need it because without it, we wouldn't be able to be our best selves in the short term and also in the long term. And what that means is we're setting ourselves up for frustration, disappointment, and decrease or lack of progress. And that's really not a great place to be. So willpower is incredibly important. Now, here's something that most people either don't know or don't think about too much, and that is willpower gets used up. Now, again, this is a concept in the book titled The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And I never thought about this before. I'm trying to be transparent here. I wish I thought of that idea, but I didn't. But willpower gets used up, and you've probably noticed it when you're really hungry and then you tend to gravitate or grab something that you know that you probably shouldn't eat, or same comes when you're tired, maybe you don't go exercise, or you probably notice that your willpower comes and goes. So keep in mind that willpower gets used up. Now, here's a good thing though, a little bit of good news, is that willpower can be renewed, thankfully. So that is the good news. But you need to keep in mind that willpower is not consistent. It's not something, I know you probably said, well, that person has great willpower and that, I don't have great willpower. It's possible that some people, their willpower is higher in some things than in others, but the reality is we all have willpower. We can all generate more willpower. We just need to learn how. So keep on your radar that your willpower, in order to be world class, you need to refuel, and there's a couple secrets to learn how to do that. So let's talk about those. The first one is journaling. Now, again, I might be being too transparent, but I don't really like journaling that much. So I have the 5-minute journal, and so I can handle that in the evening and in the morning. And so that really prompts you to have an attitude of gratitude. So writing down a couple things that you are grateful for. But here's one tip, if whether you're going to get the 5-minute journal just freeform on your own, that you should write down 2 things that you're grateful for. For example, a warm bed to sleep in and healthy kids. That's kind of on my list quite a bit. And then write down one thing that's very, very important to you that you're grateful for, but it hasn't quite happened yet. So in other words, my one thing that is that I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to have a conversation with Oprah. Now, stop laughing. I know that sounds like a little hysterical, but you never know. And so, it's the power of positive thinking. So I always like to throw that one in there so we can be grateful for the things that we do have, and then also think about, the possibilities of what could be. So journaling is a great way to refuel your willpower. Now, another way is to pause, and I'll explain this in a bit. And if you want to go deeper on this topic, Rachel O'Meara just came out with a book titled Pause, and she will go into great detail on why she wrote her book on pause and how to do the different types of pausing, and then also when you need to pause. But the long and the short of it is sometimes you need to take short pauses throughout the day, and you usually do, in order to refuel that willpower tank. So in between when you're doing different tasks or when you're transitioning from one task to another, it's very important to take a pause. Pausing is usually great to do by closing your eyes, taking some deep breaths, getting a drink of water, something to just kind of detach yourself from what you're doing, kind of rest a little bit, and then move on to your next task. And it can be very quick, just a couple seconds. You can take a 10-minute pause, a 30-minute pause where you go walk around in the middle of the day or whatever serves you. But pausing throughout the day is incredibly important to refuel that willpower tank. And finally, I mentioned transitions. So transitioning is a great way to refuel your willpower tank. And what that means is when you, let's say you or get to where you're going, maybe take a few seconds again to take that deep breath, maybe have a glass of water, and really think about the way you're going to transition into your next situation, whether it is with a group of people, one-on-one, or you're just going to even sit down to do some work. So transitioning, having a couple minutes or even a couple seconds to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and get ready to transition into another task or into another environment, is incredibly important. So in order to refuel your willpower tank so you can be your best, you can do 3 things. You can journal, preferably in the evening and in the morning if you can do it, just a couple minutes each time. You can pause throughout the day, so you can take a short break, and could be a couple seconds or a couple minutes or half an hour walk, whatever is appropriate for you. And then you might even think about longer pauses that you might need in the way of a vacation or something like that. But you can also take short pauses throughout your day. I highly recommend those. And also you can be mindful of your transitions when you're going from school to home, school to extracurricular, or if you are getting to work or leaving work, having a transition time and a transition period before you go home to your loved ones, so you can be world class in all of your different situations and have the willpower to do so. I hope you found those 3 secrets about willpower helpful. Please do feel free to share if you did. Also, keep your eyes open. We're coming out with a monthly mastery course on mental toughness. It will be a live stream and available, one curriculum for teens and another one for adults. You will be the first to know because you're on my list. I'm so incredibly excited to bring this to you in the very near future, So keep your eyes open. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time.